I don't have all the fancy music.
Oh shit!
Don't have the
Oh,
fancy
okay.
music,
I
but
realize you're vigilant. Holy shit.
yeah, we are live. We are live. I appreciate everybody tuning in. This is the Stone Guy 223 Tack Daddy After Show. Do some quick introductions from my left. We've got Mr. Swell.
Hey Stone, thanks for having me tonight.
Oh yeah, brother. No, I appreciate you coming out. Next to him, we've got Gun Websites.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Next to him, we got Joseph. I don't know your channel name, brother.
Here, I'll mute myself. Just give me a sec.
And Tack Daddy, is you there?
Just call me brother, just like you did Schwell, and we'll be fine. That's racist. You didn't do it.
Well, you know you're my boy. I guess it's all right if I'll call Swell brother and you boy.
That's even worse. But all right.
Sounds better. I can't call Swell boy because that would really be racist.
Hashtag that's racist.
Let's see. Next to him, we've got Mateo, which is what's your channel name? Let's see. Anyway, and then we got Pro Steel.
What's up?
First time on the chat. Appreciate you joining.
Thanks for the invite, bro.
And then we've got the Vigilant Spectre.
What's up?
Infamous Vigilant Spectre.
Infamous. Yes, that is the best way to put it.
Infamous.
I'm trying to decide whether now that the channel's almost reached 60,000 subscribers, I'm trying to determine if more people still hate me that subscribe to the channel or than actually like watch it for entertainment value. So,
well,
like,
I mean, like Jaeger always says, you know, the hell, whether you hate him or love him, it still gets them.
I watch it because I watch it because I hate Wombat.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it'd be a pretty fair split down the middle if that makes you feel any better, Spectre.
Yeah, that's fair.
But so a little bit of a carryover from Tack Daddy's show. Hopefully you guys were watching the Tack Daddy and talking about Big Three. The main thing I wanted to go back and touch on was some of what products you guys felt like were really going to make a splash on the market.
I got one that we didn't talk about real quick. I'll throw out there, which is the drop-in trigger for Geisley's for the Tavor. That was the first time that I actually spent some time side by side with the stock versus the Geisley, and it's magnificent. It's magnificent.
It is pretty magnificent.
Is that the Sabra?
I'm sorry?
Is that Super Sabra?
Yep.
Correct. There's just, again, even the guys from IWI would say, you know, the only thing that we really aren't 100% pleased with about this weapon is the trigger, and now Geisley has solved it. I mean, that's literally what I heard come out of people's mouths. So
I heard the director of operations of IWI say that exact same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so, that's the hard part with that big link system on any bullpup really is the trigger.
Right.
You know, so that's the other thing I wanted to ask. I forgot was, were you guys able to put your hands on the new drop-in AK trigger from Geisley?
Yeah, I've shot both.
Ooh.
They're I've shot the race gun level 1 and then the normal one. Like let me rephrase. There are two triggers.
Mm-hmm.
There is the super fast one you can shoot it so fast that you get carrier follow. And then there's the one that's for normal people.
Now, are they varying price points? I know the one that I was thinking was going to be like $50, which is.
I have no idea. I have no idea what the price point on those things are. I don't have an AK.
I did hear that they were under $100, Stone. I can't remember if it was as low as 50, but I definitely remember thinking to myself, what, it's under 100.
Just remember, if it's labeled under the ALG Defense, then it's going to be substantially less than what you would pay for your typical Geisley triggers.
And they're doing that on purpose.
And that's a sister company for anyone that's not paying attention. That's that ALG is actually same building. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah, I do believe that's
I
correct.
think they're in the same building, but it's definitely the same. You know, there's a lot of the same ownership, etc. It's a sister company.
Well, that's what I was
They're the-
excited about.
They're the
that
people
trigger
that they're also doing. ALG is also doing things like taking like mil spec triggers and Geissele-ing them. So like they're taking like standard components and doing a job on them and putting them, yeah. So that's the same.
You're
That's
talking
the
about the QMS trigger where they hard coat it in a Teflon or whatever?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I've been following.
You're just talking about the ALG triggers. I actually have one. It's a lot of damn trigger for the money.
Yeah, I know Bacon runs one in one of his guns. You know, so I mean, yeah, I find them to work just fine, but they're definitely a step above, you know, your standard mil-spec trigger. But you know, that said, it's not a Tricon trigger.
No.
And the Century guns are fun to shoot. I had fun with that V2 AK.
Yeah, I do believe we're going to be doing some work, some testing on those as well. So I just have to, you know, get that in place. But we're looking forward to that because those guns were fun. I had a. Has anybody dropped anything on the C308 yet?
No.
Kevin.
That
So you guys will see a video tomorrow from us on Century Arms stuff. They revamped the Sent Me stuff. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. It's like the Sent Me was kind of like a G3 knockoff.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're not talking AK then.
Yeah, it's an HK. It's like an HK knockoff.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
Sent Me became before the H3.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that's correct. You're 100% correct. They did that, and then HK kind of like used it. But anyway, there were some parts compatibility issues there, you know, and they weren't great because the Sent Me parts were coming into the country, and the HK mags were coming into the country, but none of the HK parts were really coming into the country. So like there's some compatibility issues. There's always a question whether Sent Me stuff was going to work, the HK stuff was going to work. Century Arms basically fixed that problem. Said, "Fuck all this ribble rabble. We're gonna fix this thing and make it an actual viable gun." And I do believe they've done it because we shot several mags through it. And I used to own a Sent Me, you know, when I was like 19 years old, and the thing would not run. I tried everything, and it just would not run. This thing ran like a champ. So I suspect that they've done some serious QC stuff when they've been bringing these guns in and repurposing the parts, and they feed only exclusively on HK magazines. They don't use any Sent Me parts or any Sent Me magazines. So
now with the new Century AK, did they have? Was it the C2s?
It's the C39 V2.
correct.
Yeah, that's the one where basically there's more original AK parts.
I just
No,
dropped a video.
no.
I just dropped a video this week with Jacob from Century. It's 100% American-made AK.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
but-
made here.
Right.
There
well,
are
yeah.
no-
I guess I should have said
Is that
original
is that
AK,
the one with the milled receiver? Or is that the stand?
It's the V2 is the milled receiver.
Out of an 11-pound block of whatever the heck they mill it out of.
But it's
Yeah.
compatible with the original. Like the first
Yes.
version of them had the different sight post, the different rear
Yes.
sight. different-
This
so-
thing accepts ACAM parts. If you get ACAM parts, this will accept it.
Right.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize that means is when you buy an ACAM stock. If you buy an ACAM stock, you have to like drill the hole. All right, it has a couple index points, and you drill it for your self-tapping screw that holds the thing in place. Like that can't happen. Sometimes you can buy them and they are already drilled, but a lot of times, you know, some of those parts are fitted yourself, and it's fitted with hand tools. I mean, it's not.
Now let me ask you this, because I'm kind of not well versed in the AK world. If with the Century, for instance, since it's a milled receiver, U.S.-made receiver, if you got aftermarket AKM parts, or what people would refer to as original AK parts and pieces, does that affect the 922R, or can you, since the receiver's U.S., can you trick it out with all foreign parts other than the receiver?
The only thing that has to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the panel that and I get this wrong, correct me, that is only for importation.
Yeah, that's correct. It's only import.
Yeah, that's just to get it here. All right, so like you see some companies bringing in like sporterized AKs, and they bring them in and they rip them apart and tack them back out. Like that is just to get the parts into the country. So they go through all this trouble, you know, redoing the configuration of this gun to reclassify it as a sporting firearm, so they can bring it into the country and then bring it back to its original purpose. So the 922R stuff, it has to have those a certain number of parts just to be allowed to be imported. After it gets here, who gives a fuck, you know? So you're good.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. We had a conversation about how they, you know, the backdoor stuff that they do to bring guns like that into the country. Certain manufacturers that, you know, that do these sorts of things. It's kind of funny to listen to how they do it, and you know, it's a lot of money that's wasted, basically. They're finding some new ways to do it that are kind of unique, and have kind of ruffled some feathers as well. But it's the hoops that they have to jump through are pretty absurd, you know, for the end result. Just because it's the rules.
Well, quick story, a little off topic, but there's an industry of wood, like imported wood, it's maple or some type of wood that's harvested in the Midwest, Washington State area, something like that. That it's wood harvested in the States, but if they pack it on a ship, travel out to international waters, and then bring it back, they can consider it imported wood and charge way more for it. That really happens. Like, that's a viable
It wouldn't
product.
surprise me.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, look it up for people that are like, that's bullshit. No, it's seriously. Because on the shores, it's like, let's say $10 a foot. If they take it out in the middle of the ocean to where it crosses international or whatever, and then bring it back and import it, then they can get like $45 a foot for the same wood. It's crazy. All right, Swell, what's this big thing I hear you talking about?
Well, mine isn't really super big. It's, excuse me, the reinvention of a product that they've already had out on the market for years. IWI was allowing Magnum Research to import the Baby Desert Eagle, which was originally the Jericho 941. They made a few changes when Magnum Research had it. Now IWI is reintroducing it to the market, and I own one of the Baby Desert Eagles. IWI is bringing it back as the Jericho, and that's what I'm excited about, because when you own a pistol like that and you shoot it, you fall in love with it. So I'm eager to get my hands on one of the IWI versions of my own.
It's a CZ design to begin with.
Right, the CZ75, exactly.
Yeah, I've got the 41 AE version.
Nice, nice. So my version has the decocker safety switch on the slide. Well, IWI is reintroducing it in the original format, like the 941, where that is on the frame or receiver of the pistol. So
Yeah, it's a frame-mounted safety. There is no longer a decocker.
nice.
Which
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, because I hated it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an unnecessary option.
And to expand on his what he was talking about, we had an opportunity to shoot it. We did a video on it. It's up on the channel, both on Young Guns and YouTube right now. If you guys want to see that, it's an excellent firearm. Yeah, I mean, it just hands down. Let me put it this way: Bacon can't shoot for shit when it comes to handguns, and he like actually hit the target like most of the time with the gun. So
Now, is it
anything
heavy like a Desert
that-
Eagle?
Well, there's two versions. Well, there's multiple versions. There's multiple frame sizes, multiple calibers, and two versions, both in polymer and steel frame. So there's a polymer frame version and a steel frame version, multiple frame sizes and multiple calibers within those frame sizes. So
I
there's
thought there was only
there's
going to be two frame sizes, a 45
No.
and a 940 frame.
uh,
They're pretty
excuse
much
me, you're-
doing exactly
you were
what
correct.
EAA is doing.
You're correct. There's a mid-size and a full-size is what they're calling it. What I meant by that is you can get the calibers. There are different permutations of calibers in different frame sizes and different constructions of polymer and steel. So, and it's all noted in the video. They ran through that. I kind of glazed everyone. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So, but they will be available in a few weeks, is what I've heard. So, excellent pistol. I'd had a really good time shooting it. So,
This
If
is
you have
my
an
compact
opportunity.
version.
yeah, see that. I didn't think that they're not bringing a compact in, are they?
No, the only I think they have them where they're all railed, so you're not going to have the compact version like this one that does not have a rail on it.
Is that the
They're
one
all
that
rail.
Yankee just got? You guys were talking about?
You got a full size with that rail under there. That's how you're talking
He's
about.
got the full-size 50 AE.
They used to make that in a little tiny pocket pistol style pistol a long time ago, 380, didn't they? I mean, it's real small. It's like a. Remember that pistol?
No.
Not me.
What's other than the big name optics and that one we just hit on, the black, what was it? Black Widow? What was the name?
Black Spider Optics
Black
is the one tack.
Spider. Other than those guys, are you seeing any other budget-friendly optics coming out?
Burst
Thanks.
was there. Burst was there, and so was Hilux. And Hilux has multiple. Well, Burst does too. Both companies have multiple optics that are budget-friendly in the telescopic region. I didn't
Vortex.
see the Vortex stuff. Actually, quick note on the Vortex stuff. Bacon ordered a Vortex from a direct. He ordered it direct, and they actually wrote him a handwritten letter thanking him for his service. So, kudos to Vortex, for taking care of our military personnel.
That Hilux has really piqued my interest. Some of the torture tests I've seen with the Hilux products are, for the price point, are incredible.
I don't remember what the price point is. We actually have a second one coming in for testing. The one that I have been running on my gun for about since I got it after the last Big 3, so since last October, I've been running it, and the gun, the thing runs great. It's still running perfectly. It just doesn't look so good on camera because I beat the shit out of it. So we actually have another veneer model that we're bringing in that we're not going to trash. But that said, it's still running great. It's just I bent the mount. I broke one of the mounts, so I had to remount it. I broke one of the bolts, so I had to get a new bolt. I broke off the rear scope cover. I flattened the top turret. The whole thing's covered in mud. I bent the front the kill flash thing. It's all bent up, so I had to remove it. And I actually broke the tethers off the caps as well. So now I can actually lose them if I pull them off.
What
But
are
the
you
thing
doing?
still.
What are you doing?
the
Throwing it in a
thing's-
blender?
But the thing still runs flawlessly. There's no distortion. I've never re-zeroed it. It still shoots true. It's actually traveled across 2 guns, and I never had to re-zero it. So, it may not look great because it's been beat to shit, but it still runs. So I mean, and I haven't changed the battery yet. So
6-year battery life. You're good there.
yeah, and it comes with the spare battery. And I didn't know what that meant when they said it. I didn't get it, but it's actually an onboard storage compartment for the other battery that's in it. So.
I think that's the most innovative thing about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I've actually that battery no longer rides on board because it's actually in one of my other things that died. So I actually hocked the battery from my Hilux for something else, and I just haven't moved it back over yet. I need to do that, but I don't anticipate needing it for a long period of time. So
Yeah, that's yeah, I don't know. I'm really leaning towards the Hilux.
How inexpensive are you looking?
I want to say they're 250, 300 at the most.
yeah, I think that
Look at the Vortex at that price range. If you're looking sub 200, UTG is okay, but you get what you pay for with them too. You know.
I'm not gonna throw in. I'm not gonna throw anything out about UTG stuff.
What, you don't like them? If so,
broken
speak
one.
up because I'm looking at a couple more just as cheap options.
Well, UTG aside, they do make a good, scout scope.
They make a good flashlight. I got a little micro. Who the fuck is humming?
Here's 220 on the Micromax B dot.
220. That's good.
It's at TacDaddy.com for 220.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, to be honest, as much shit as I put that optic through and it hasn't died yet, I'm really surprised. I mean, I dropped it at 10. I intentionally dropped it on a steel plate from shoulder height twice.
Yeah, for that money, you can't beat that. That's
Yeah, and that and the people at Hilux are good people. So, you know. Now I'm anticipating maybe us getting some Burris optics in, so we'll see how that goes. I didn't have a great experience with the Fastfire, but it was also a bad day on the range where we broke like 6 things. So
We're up to like the Fastfire 3 now, aren't we though?
Well, yeah, I mean it was an original Fastfire, so I don't know what improvements they've made since then. I was impressed with their telescopic line that they brought to Big 3. I had a really good time shooting that stuff. But back to what I was saying, we did kill a Fastfire in 15 minutes.
Any new medical gear or anything like that coming down the wire? Speak of?
Yes, actually, the VanQuest guys have three. It's a 3 different size. They have 3 different sizes of them, MOLLE compatible, IFAC, like micro IFACs that are like super. They have like little organizational pouches inside of the pouch. It's probably about the smallest one I think is about the size of my fist or something like that, and then they size up from there. They're designed to ride on belts and carriers and things like that. They're supposed to be really nice. Hopefully I'm going to have some to look at here pretty soon. I don't believe that they come stock, though. So.
Right on.
Oh, that leads me to something. As far as like the prepper side of things, we have it was announced there. Kevin, you can help me out on the website here. They are liquid storage containers that are modeled after the NATO fuel can that are labeled "Do not store fuel in." All right, and they don't have any, and because they're liquid storage containers, they don't have any of the EPA controls on them. So you can use them for things like storing drinking water or for storing, any other liquids that you would have around the house that you need to transport, those sorts of things. I can't remember the name of the website, but
I didn't even see what you're talking about.
It was on Friday. CJ gave the presentation.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Let me see if I can find it. Hang on.
Bye, Schwell.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for having me, Stone. And
You're welcome.
I'll be on next week.
Oh yeah, man, appreciate it. Give the wife a kiss for me.
Oh wow.
Okay. Okay. I'll give her a kiss for me and scream out your name. How about that? I hope everybody has a good night.
Just whisper it in her ear. Just right as she's about to fall asleep, just be like, Stone Guy 223.
No, because then she'll dream about him instead of me. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it happens.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good night and stay safe.
Later, dude.
All right, kind of switching gears a little bit.
Okay.
Here.
The name of that website is prepandmore.com. So you can see those liquid storage containers over there. But anyway, thanks for inviting me. I gotta go. I'm gonna be late. So you guys have a good one.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.
Peace.
So G-Webs, this is kind of, I know anybody else that's a competitive shooter in here. I don't know if you saw the story of the IPSC guy that was standing downrange when firing commenced.
Sure, that went around like during the week.
Yeah. Man, what's your take on that? Because I don't see how that happened.
I don't understand how you don't think it happened. It happened.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man.
I think it shows the inherent safety in our sport. It doesn't happen often, for sure. That's why there's the great outroar, and that's why it's the one, if only, video of it like it of its kind. And I think that it shows that, again, when they plan out these stages, they're done for safety and the concern for prevention of accidents. So that guy, if everybody is, I'm assuming everyone has seen the video, it's a guy that goes through a stage at a competition where he goes through a series of targets in different parts of a shooting bay, kind of shooting to the left, shooting to the right, shooting to the left, shooting to the right, and then he's going through like makeshift hallways and doorways and windows and stuff like most competitions do. And then as you get to the end of it, there was a guy out there who was basically still taping targets from the last session. So it was an accident, but again, I think that it's an illustration of how safe these things are. Just inherently, we don't set them up so that accidents can happen. We set them up without a reason. In other words, there weren't like a bunch of accidents and then we had Mothers Against dangerous ranges come out and petition us to make these ranges safer. We just saw, because we're common, we have common sense, we as a shooting community, when we develop these games, these sports that we play with guns, we develop them in a way that's safe. So anticipating the worst possible scenario, and that's what we saw here as the worst possible scenario. For whatever reason, the group of people that go down range to tape targets after a shooter shoots his stage, scores the stage and then tapes up all the holes in the target so that the next shooter can be scored. That person either didn't have a buddy there, or for whatever reason his buddy was in the bathroom or something, just didn't chime out when everyone said, is the range safe? Because we all know there's procedures. Now, I think it's definitely a wake-up call to the range officers, and it's an embarrassment. But we take black eyes once in a while, and we grow on. And I think again, it shows how safe we are and how responsible we are. And the outrage is going to be there. We can't do nothing about it. But me, I'm usually the one towards take the black eye and move along.
I don't agree with the design comment, only because a true good design would have seen that guy downrange from the starting point. Meaning, in my opinion, there was too many obstacles on that design of that actual course, so that you couldn't see that it was completely clear from the start.
Right. Well, that's the main job. As a range officer myself, like I talked to TAC Daddy briefly. I've shot IPSC for several years. I'm a level 2 range officer. I've run state matches. It's the job of that range officer and the scorekeeper usually, depending on, if you're on like a level 1 or level 2 match, you'll have someone running the NUF or the score pad and your range officer. And so you really have 2 range officials that are in charge of the safety. And it's the range officer's job to be the last one back. Like realistically, that range officer stays downrange until all the pasting is done, and he's the last one to walk off the stage. So that range officer failed because he was already back at the line. You know, you don't ever do that. So I mean, right there, it's just like the perfect storm of shit that went down for that to even be, you know, an option. But so there's a lot of course designs that, I mean, there's even more barriers than that, and that's why they specifically say, you know, you're the last one to leave, and then before you start, you kind of look down on the ground, like, you know, looking under a bathroom stall to see if you see any feet. And you know,
Guy's lucky he didn't get killed.
yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what we need to take away from it, is the fact that the guy was not shot, so that was a plus. But crazy.
So was this just a failure to communicate and like a slip of the mind, basically?
I think, honestly, and I'm not saying anything about old people, but we all know there's too many old people in this world.
Fuck you, Stone Guy.
You are saying that old people.
That range officer was an older guy from the looks of him in the video, and I have a feeling he just got complacent. You know, he failed. That range officer failed, plain and simple, and it's sad. Well,
So
the
it's
other
just
thing I'm going to say is
not a gun thing at all.
no. The thing about it is, realistically, you know, on these local matches or these just level 1 matches that are, you know, I think people are too lax about the rules and about the safety procedure.
Come on. That's playing into the hype, man. If that was the case, then we'd have actual accidents. We'd have actual injuries. This is one video. You're telling me of all the people that have had accidents, they were like, oh, we better stifle this. And then this guy was like, no, I'm going to stand up against the silent code of not showing these accidents. No, I suggest there are hardly ever accidents. This video and the outrage around it illustrate the fact that this is extremely rare, and it's just a reaction to complain about the circumstances.
No, and I agree with you there. I agree that there's hardly
sport or all shooters or all independent shooters or all small sports, because those are all the ones that should be applauded. That this hardly ever happens, and that's why we see this one time being
right. Exactly. Well, that's what I was saying. It does hardly ever happen because all those rules are in place, and so that's why I was shocked to think that could even go down. So you really have to chalk it up to, it's not the sport, it's not the shooters, it was the complete lack of attention and concentration on one guy. You know, this is one RO that made a mistake, and you know that's
human element.
Exactly. That's the only thing I can blame it on, is the one guy.
I think it's also encouraging when you watch the video, the guy who's downrange, of course, is surprised because he didn't really know there was somebody in the lane, obviously, shooting. And the shooter himself is the one that sees the guy and stops. The guy who's got the timer or whatever, you know, didn't see him right away either. So it's, again, a testament to these guys aren't doing anything out of control. It's not like it's controlled chaos. It's not like people somehow live through these events. It's a very calm, and just like any sport. It's just like if somebody ran out onto the racetrack during a race, would we say, or motorcycle, or not a motorcycle, a car race or something? You know, we wouldn't say, oh, all car races are too unsafe. There needs to be more fences. You know, it's just, yeah, something happens once in a while, and I think we can all learn from it. Like you say, maybe it's a good way of a non-incident or non-injury for every range master, like you say, or everyone who's in charge of a lane at any sporting event to just remember it. Okay, yeah, remember we should be the last one out. It's a good check.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe if we would be avoided if we all had some sort of mandatory antenna with a little LED light flashing at the top.
Just
that
a general.
Can see us.
Make sure you're not where the bullets are flying. That's a good general rule for.
Yeah, but I've seen, like, I've been out in my
Helium
range.
balloons that are attached to strings. So if you see any balloons hovering, we know not to.
There you go.
Small drones per person.
I've been out in my range, and you know, it's like the range officer goes and tells the guy, stand your gun up, because our rules are your gun stands in a stand when you set their targets on the bunts. And this guy's going, well, what's the problem? My bolt's out of it. It's, you know, it's not a big deal. And this, well, that's just the rule, right? You put your rifle standing up, so it's like, not pointing down range. It doesn't matter if you bolts out of it. That's just the rule, right? And then this guy argued it, and I was like, it's not a big deal. Like, stand your rifle up in the rack. It's a nice rack built into the side of the target table. So, sometimes it's the people that are shooting, not just the range officers. Range officers can be forgetful and can be dicks, but that's because they're human.
Yep, absolutely.
But
what other
It's
stories
nice
we
that you
got?
let the Canadians in, but I don't like to have to be scolded by Canadians.
Oh, I'm not scolding. I'm just saying that, it was great, the shooter.
Well, the reason Bob's representing the percentage of old people that
Oh, he happens to be Canadian, but he's representing the old set.
right, but like I said, there's just there's too many elderly in this world.
Yeah. You know what? And there's more of us every day, and eventually you'll
We
be
don't
one of them.
always have enough target holders because of the wind and stuff. They get blown over, so well, maybe we can figure something out.
No, ours have built quite well.
You're just worn in.
Ours don't blow over in the wind. What do you make your target holders out of? I mean, we use 4x4s usually. Piece of plywood.
Well, our problem is we don't have a lot of wind, but Canada sucks so bad that it's always knocking down our targets.
Holy. I'll tell you what, we'll send
Like
some
that-
more of
that
our Arctic
vacuum
air down
effect.
to you guys. How about that? We send some
Canada
more Arctic
sucks
air
and
down there.
Mexico
You can get
blows
snow
and we
in
get
Texas
caught in the
again.
middle.
You're going to see Tucson Bob on your trip.
He
What
was
other
great, man.
what other big stories we got going on in the world?
Oh, how about the co-pilot crashing the airplane and the pilot
Oh.
couldn't get in there because he couldn't get
Yeah.
through the damn door.
You hear about that, guys? They found the
Well,
the
would you
black
rather have a
box.
terrorist crash the plane?
No,
Yeah,
he was just a
saying that
depressed pilot.
The co-pilot did it on purpose. He set it all up. He had probably planned it for at least the day or so that he was going to lock the regular pilot out and crash with everybody else.
Yeah, but isn't that the same excuse they used in flight? What was the 370? The one that turned
Well,
towards
They
India
thought,
or
but they never had
Malaysia.
I mean, this they have the black boxes, so they can show that, like, they can see that the co-pilot just turned it into a descent.
oh, they have the black boxes. Do you mean the ones that they're playing for us so we can know, or we're just going to take their
Oh, for
word? that,
goodness sake! Do you really think this is all some kind of conspiracy? It was some wacko was depressed and decided to take people.
Look
with
at that
him.
plane. That thing is spread out like what? A couple of miles or something?
Yeah, but it hit the side of a cliff at 500 miles an hour. What do you expect it's going to do? They said it didn't even burn because it hit and just like went.
There's already reports saying that they saw a follow plane following that thing, and it was a military-style plane. So.
Yes, it was a black CIA jet, and it shot it down just so they could make like who are they going to blame, right? I mean, the whole thing is Al Qaeda didn't claim it, nobody claimed it, and now it turns out that this co-pilot just like sat there, locked the pilot out, sat there, set the thing to descent, and then just sat there breathing normally as the plane went poof into a mountain.
I'm sure he asked,
It was ISIS.
he asked the pilot before, hey, can I fly? He's like, no, don't touch your controls, man. I'll be back. He's like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah. Now the guy had a year and a half of flying like those planes. It was,
Yeah, but it
But it's
definitely
confirmed that the co-pilot really set it all up and deliberately killed everybody.
yeah. They know that he set the.
No, Bob, this is the story that they're telling you, and you bought it. Hook, line,
No,
and
it's coming
sinker.
through on BBC. I don't know. I mean, you could see a conspiracy and everything. Obviously, if all the news agencies are controlled by the CIA, well, then we're fucked. And if that's the case, then well, what's the point? Let's just
only try.
pretend it's all okay until it's all over.
Well, what shooter? I mean, the conspiracy behind it. What's their benefit? I mean, this was.
Look at any conspiracy, and I mean, you can't freaking. You can pull any number of different, benefits out of it. I mean, I have no idea. I just, just looking at the explosion, or what's left of the plane. I mean, there's people that do that kind of stuff that have already said, like, no way, that thing came apart in the air. to be spread out like that. And then there's other people saying, yeah, we saw another plane, almost have to steer to divert to not hit the thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whether they're just covering up somebody's ass or, some other country got trigger happy and they're just like, whoa, shit, that went totally sideways. I mean, I
think it was just in the middle of Europe, though.
Yeah, this is not the first time a pilot or co-pilot has committed suicide and taken all the passengers with them.
I agree with that, but I mean, I'd be inclined to believe the conspiracy theory side of it more if it was somewhere where it was viable that there was a reason for it. What are we going to say? The Russians just decided to shoot down a German plane for some reason?
Well, maybe teach Merkel a lesson because she's like, supporting the Americans, eh?
The Russians did shoot a South Korean airliner way back in the 90s, and they shot one down for violating the airspace.
Yeah, well, they said it was violating. Apparently, according to the radar tracks, it was about 10 miles outside their airspace. But I mean, that kind of shit happens all the time. Look at that airliner that the Russian separatists shot down.
Well, yeah, but that's in the middle of a damn war zone.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it was probably stupid they were flying over there, but at the same time, it's like, who the fuck's going to shoot down an airliner at 30,000 feet? That takes pretty big technology,
Well, that's what they were saying, that their initial reports of that flight in Russia, that had to be military because, there's no other, basic little surface-to-air missile shoulder-fired or anything would reach that height.
A MANPAD's not going to do it. It took a serious surface-to-air missile, and they did have them, and they had pictures of it getting shipped back to Russia with one missile missing.
That's awfully convenient.
Well, and that's the other thing is right now, I guess all that shit is sparked back up in over there in Russia, Crimea,
Ukraine.
Oh yeah,
Ukraine and all that. So
yeah, the Russians are moving mobile nuclear weapons onto the border of Latvia, which just happens to be where the Canadians are patrolling.
You think that's going to affect our? You think that's going to affect our 7.62x39 supply? They start going back to.
Oh, not mine. I get all mine from Bulgaria and stuff like that, and they're our allies now. So.
No, there's too many companies that switched all their stuff over to other countries, so there's no fear of that.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah,
we have to
and they're making it here. I mean, they're actually making 7.62x39 in Canada. So, I'm sure they're making a shit pile of it where you guys, like in the States.
Well, yeah, for $20 a bottle, or $20 a box, rather.
Yeah, so what? Not a big deal. Just pay the money and shoot the gun. Fuck. And I'm a retired guy. I mean, I can afford to shoot. Of course, I'm still shooting stuff that because you guys got me into a fucking panic about buying, so I have all these fucking.
Hey, you can. Nah, don't bitch. You can never have too much ammo. Always.
I know. You really can't. I mean,
and a lot of people pay money to go to the gym, and now you're getting all that exercise, moving all that extra ammo you didn't need. So you should.
No shit. You know what? It was a full fucking load in my 3/4 ton truck to take my ammo because I have to move. So a full fucking load.
To help you out whenever you do visit Arizona, just bring all that ammo down here, and you won't have to drag it back up.
I paid for.
I'm pretty sure your crazy Canadian ammo will work down here.
The new camper I bought, it's got this great closet. It's perfect. It fits my 14-gun safe perfectly. And then, underneath the seats, there's lots of room to stock some ammo in there.
Bob's crazy, but every once in a while he has a good idea. You should just buy a camper, armor the entire outside, put little slits in it, or maybe just buy an armored car, I guess, at that point, and then just make that your gun safe.
Yeah, but an armored car doesn't have a nice bed and a bathtub and.
But whatever, you could just drive your whole gun safe to the range, though.
That'd be
Shoot,
awesome.
Feel
Kind
like
of what I
take
intend
your whole
to do.
range
Like,
home.
you
Are
were
you
telling
hoping?
me you
Get an old
There's
Brinks
a-
truck and
there's a campsite
Exactly.
right next to the gun range. Man, that's where I'm gonna spend my time in
Any
Arizona.
gun range. The gun range has it. The two of them have their own campsites.
Yeah, I know. That's just fucking badass. I think that's like golden. I'm gonna live there, as long as they let me live there before they start taxing me. Apparently, I can only stay there for so long, and then they want to tax me. So I have to go back to Canada for, the summer. I'll just go fishing and shit, hunting, and then in the fall, when it starts to get cold, move back to Arizona where it's warm. Sounds like just.
We don't care which direction you go. If you want to go to Mexico, it's fine. We just want you to leave the
I don't
country
wanna
every
go
once in a while.
No, Mexico's dangerous, man. There's crazy people there. I mean, there's crazy people in Arizona, but not quite as bad.
not quite. Hey, Tack. So you got the clown story. Was there any other stories you didn't cover that you had B-roll of?
Oh, Tack Daddy's in here. It's high class.
Is he still there, or is he walking the dog? I don't have my camera.
Oh, walking the dog.
Oh, well.
We got anybody else classy in here? Well, Edge, but he's not really classy. G-Webs is just G-Webs.
Yeah, we got some new faces in here tonight. It's always good to see new
nice.
faces.
Yeah, there seems to be more and more new people getting into these, and that's great. We need that. Got to keep it real,
It's always good when there's less and less Canadians.
So there's the
There was
push.
actually- Yeah, we did a shout.
Sorry. Less and less Saskatchewanis, because we don't mind the other.
Hey, I'm moving to Manitoba and really close to the border, man. I'll be like, maybe an hour, and I can be in the States.
Are you threatening us? Is that a threat?
All right, Bob, shut up. So there's this push for what was it? I wish Tack Daddy was here. There's some Moms Demand Action thing, and
The Kroger restaurant. Talking about the Kroger grocery stores?
Yeah,
Saying,
yeah.
hell no. I thought that was awesome as hell.
yeah, that was. And see, we have Kroger's in our area here, so I thought that was a pretty stand-up thing for Kroger.
Isn't Kroger still telling them to pound sand?
Yeah.
Well, what was the deal?
absolutely.
They don't want people to carry, or they don't want to
Yeah, yeah. Moms Demand Action filed a lawsuit against Kroger, wanting them to change their policy on,
I think that's kind of ballsy. They try to get them to do it, and then when they don't, they tell them no. They go sue them.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's,
Moms Demand Action sued Kroger's.
But Kroger's are standing by, and they said, look, if any state has a carry option, like if it's legal to
They're
carry in
complying
that
with
state,
the law.
exactly, we're going to comply with whatever state law there is. We're not going to make our own restrictions based on your pathetic feelings.
That just had to be some type of media stunt that the Moms Ban Action was trying to basically shame them or point their finger at them, because, I mean, suing them, well, I mean, what did they actually expect some judge to go, oh, yes, they have a legitimate point. You shouldn't. They wanted to get it, blow it up into a bigger story and try to have, moms all over shame them, or at least put the idea into, people's heads. Oh, no, there's going to be guns every time you go into a Kroger or whatever.
I don't know. With some of the court's decisions, it would not surprise me to have a ruling come in to say your property when you open it to the public, blah, blah, blah. No, that wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Speaking of that.
Isn't that what happened in Washington State a few months back with the gay couple and the cake shop owner or whatever?
Yeah, that's like the second example of that. The guy said he didn't want to serve them because they were gay, and basically he's in court. He's got to go through anger management, basically re-education.
Because
now that's bullshit. Now they're making the shop owner do that.
Yes.
Oh yes.
How is that even possible? I mean, you're
because
talking.
He did it because they're gay. It's a hate crime.
That's right.
He done it just because of his religious.
Refusing to do the business or whatever, the work.
Yeah, he claimed religious
I thought a
problems.
company is allowed to refuse to do
Yeah,
service.
as a private company, a private business owner, you should be able to choose who you serve and for whatever reason.
And the trick is, he had a right to do that. It's the problem with what he said. He could have said, "It's because of my religious beliefs, I can't serve you." But because the person literally said, "I refuse to serve you because you're gay," that's when he lost automatically.
Their sexual that would be like saying I refuse to serve you because you're black.
Well, either way,
it's going to be racist.
Oh, there's already something similar going on. I believe in Kentucky, a restaurant owner told a woman nursing her child, in the dining area, that she had to leave. It's like, don't whip your breast out. Start feeding your kid while everybody's here trying to.
Exactly. I totally agree with that.
It's becoming a big lawsuit. In fact, it's, I think, on the Kentucky Supreme Court last I read.
Yeah, that's crazy. I totally agree with that. As a private business owner, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's your business. It's your property.
And if everybody thinks that they should be able to do that, then they just won't eat at your restaurant or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I love, I'm not trying to pump his company, but SOE, I love the way they deal with it. The customer's always wrong. You either treat us with respect or we're just not even going to deal with you.
Well, the problem is not, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but the fact of the matter is we don't need to have government stepping in and dictating what private business owners can do.
But at a certain extent, you do need that judge to come in and say, well, because it is this fine line between your rights as a business owner and the rights as the person and who they are, whether it be race, gender.
I mean, really. I mean, like Stone Guy, the way you're saying
one
it,
at a time.
Like a business can say no, like no blacks,
Well, it doesn't have to be black, Bob. It's
that's what I'm saying.
But a business owner should have the right to say.
Isn't it? Well, couldn't you put a sign up saying I don't want no blacks or nobody with a turban? I mean, that is actually against what the Constitution says.
No, it has nothing to do with the fucking Constitution.
Okay, hold on, Bob.
Well, all men are created equal, so that means that somebody can't just say, I don't like the color you. I don't like your religion.
But the thing is, Bob,
how is that any different than me saying I don't want to sell my property to you in a private transaction because you don't share the same political ideology as me?
Or you're not go to the same church or a part of the same state, etc. It's a matter of...
It's discrimination. It's called discrimination.
It's not discrimination.
Yes, it is.
Private business.
Here's the thing, though, Bob. I mean, think about this, okay? It's discriminating. If I was the shop owner, for example, it's discriminating against my religious beliefs if I have to serve you and you are homosexual.
How is that discriminating? You're not.
Because I don't believe
it goes both ways. You can't just say just because someone's whether they're gay.
I mean, that's no different than saying I'm not going to serve you because you're black.
Well, okay, so be it.
Really?
So be it.
People really, you think that people should be allowed to say that? I'm not going to serve you. You're black. I.e., you're not a human being.
They have a right to do it, though.
It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's right. The fact of the matter is the private business owner should...
Here's I think the confusion, because this isn't the first time anybody's had this discussion, right? It's not that we're debating whether or not it's morally acceptable or morally right to discriminate based on anything. What we're suggesting is it's not the federal government's responsibility or obligation to enforce that. Instead, it's the population at large's responsibility and obligation to enforce that. And in this capitalist society, that's through the pocketbook. So if somebody wants to open up KKK racist cafe, they can go fucking out of business because no one's going to go there.
Exactly.
We don't need a fucking federal government to tell us what is morally acceptable.
Amen, G-Webs. That was well said. There's nothing else to say to that, Bob. G-Web.
No, there actually is. I mean, is there not a thing called, that all people should be treated equally? I mean,
we all agree that, except you go to the church of government to worship to that, and we either go to our individual churches or our own families to worship that.
Exactly. Yeah. You couldn't put it any better, G-Web.
And this is the thing, Bob, too, is this person is not in trouble for his belief. It's not the moral compass. It's the matter of he legitimately said, I'm not going to do it because you're gay. He could have acted upon this and would have never been in this trouble if he had simply said, I can't serve you because of my religious beliefs.
Yeah, but the legal prosecution, whatever way they're trying to make this guy seem like some kind of bad dude, is because they're equating racism against like a race of people with your sexual orientation. They're not the same. I mean, I don't
think they are.
Same respect.
No.
Yeah.
You
I disagree with you there.
find out they're going to shoot people because you're black. You can't change the color of your skin. You find out they're shoot people because you're gay. You'll straighten up real quick.
No. Like people, it's been proven scientifically that people are not, like they're born gay.
Oh,
Some
fuck
people.
I don't know. I agree with that. I grew up with a kid who was gay from day one, and we knew he was gay.
Some people make the choice, though. I had a friend that
some people make the choice.
Very effeminate.
But hold on.
Bisexual.
Not everybody is born gay. I will admit
Okay,
that
so again, is that
some
an
people.
argument that we can solve here? No. So is it an
No.
argument that's relevant? I don't even know. Does it matter if someone chooses or doesn't choose it? If they represent themselves as, I wear a red shirt, and you discriminate against people with red shirts, that's the issue.
Right, exactly. And like G-Web said, hold on.
To discriminate, right?
Yeah, but
like
is it
G-Web
okay?
said, that's the whole point.
I mean,
that's Jesus Christ,
I
Bob.
think
What don't you understand?
Well, here's
That's
the
the
thing.
whole point is the fact of the matter, like G-Web said. The fact is not whether it's correct. I don't think any of us on the panel believe in discrimination at all. The fact of the matter is we all don't believe that it's the government's obligation or right, for that matter, to tell us as private business owners who we can and can't serve.
And
That's the issue.
Right. We have faith in our fellow human beings here in the U.S. to be free and to all have that same moral, like, or whatever you want to call, like, same kind of general thing. We don't kill people for no reason. We don't rob people for no reason as a general rule, right?
Yeah.
And when there's someone doing that, we all scorn them together, and we protect the little old ladies and the single moms and the little old guys who can't protect themselves, and we do that as a group. We don't need the government to go do that for us, and we don't need the government to tell us when it's appropriate to be right or wrong. We're more confident and more willing to allow our fellow human beings to make that decision.
Did not the government have to do that in order to stop the discrimination against blacks?
I don't care what happened in
when they
the
went to
past,
school and
Bob.
stuff?
This country was formed on the idea that the individual is good, and the individual as a group, the community, is by nature good, and that we don't need the government to come in and tell us what's good and bad. And that's the overall thing that we're talking about here. We all agree
and I
that
agree with
there's
that.
bad things and there's good things. It's just that we want to have the right and the, again, obligation and responsibility to make that decision for ourselves. And sometimes that's gross, and sometimes that's angry, and sometimes that's dangerous or messy, or sometimes it's fucking awesome, and sometimes it's all rainbows and butterflies, right?
Yeah.
Except that we choose to be free like that, and we don't ask the government to take all that responsibility and obligation away from us. That's
and in
the
this situation,
Well,
the first judge that
I agree with G-Webs.
Well, in this specific situation, in my personal opinion, the first judge that saw this case, because this went through a couple judges before the guy finally got handed his sentence. The first judge said, okay, you're butthurt because you're a private business owner, you're butthurt because you're whatever. Don't shop there, don't talk to them, walk away. I mean, no one was really at fault here. And it became this big deal because of media, basically, and propaganda against this guy, making him seem like something he really wasn't.
Well, yeah, but that's because it happened during a time when there was a movement of, gays are, getting equality. So of course the media was going to slam this.
Yeah, but gays are still getting equality. It's not completely done yet, and it's not going to happen in the next year or two, probably. It's going to take at least 5 to 10 years for that to completely go through, just like it's probably going to take 5 to 10 years for anything major to happen good for us as relieving the pressure as gun owners.
Don't we all agree, though, that, I mean, everybody should be treated equally. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I'm waiting for that.
Everyone should be
Atheist,
treated
Catholic,
equally.
whatever.
Yes,
But-
absolutely, Bob. Everybody agrees with that. The fact of the matter is, we don't need the government to tell us that.
Especially on my property.
Well, no,
want
I
to
think
pick. That's my right.
I think, I mean, if this guy had come out in a black couple,
It's not a black or white thing, Bob.
Bob, it's not fair. You got money. I
Bob's
got
joking on his own racism.
Okay,
Did
Bob.
Bob just die?
If
sorry, I just got it.
Yeah,
No,
the
but
guy
if,
just won the
if
Bob
a
Death
black
Lottery?
couple had come up to him and said, "We want you to make our wedding cake," and he said, "I'm not going to do it because you're niggers," do you not think that people would have just fucking exploded and there never would have been wouldn't have had to go to court or anything? Wouldn't have gone past the first court?
Well, see,
It
you're
would
still
have just
going
said,
about
no, civil rights.
The fact of the matter is, it's not a black or white thing. It's not anything. It's not a racism. It's not a. It's
Well,
a.
is it a rainbow thing? Isn't that their
It's,
color?
it's
Well,
nothing.
it's
It's the
not that,
fact that the government's trying to tell a private business owner how he should conduct his business. That's
But
the.
didn't we go through this in the 60s, though? I mean, this was exactly the same in the
Yeah,
60s.
but those were
Well,
instances where people had
we have to
crimes
sell
committed
our
against
serve.
It wasn't a matter of whether it was right or wrong. Again, I go back to it was a matter of he said what he was doing, and he could have avoided this.
Either way, the guy was being an asshole, and he has a right to be an asshole.
Exactly.
He wasn't
Exactly. I mean,
depriving-
but the same thing. You could say, well, the guy was being a racist, and he has a right to be a racist.
Yes, actually,
Yeah,
he does have the right.
Just accept the repercussions as they come.
Yes, he does have a right.
If he's running a lunch counter and says blacks can't eat here,
It does. Why do you keep going back to the black thing, Bob? It's not a black
because
or
it's the same thing.
It's not.
It's exactly the same
but
thing.
Either
It
way,
doesn't
he
matter.
does have a right to be racist. If he
God,
wants to
it's
be,
like-
that's his right.
You guys, you know, states that if you're an atheist, you can't run for government. I mean, I think that's bullshit. I mean, you have some weird rules there.
You
Yes,
can't
we
be
do.
atheist.
No,
Hey,
Bob,
Bob.
you're strapping shit along with
Bob,
your.
let's put it this way.
Yes, in America, in the United States at least, in our portion of free America, we have the right to be racist. However, that doesn't come with the agreement or the with all of our encouragement, or we don't have to all agree with each other, but we are going to fight to let someone be
Hey,
free.
Bob.
So that's the difference. Is you got to separate that. Yes, we are allowing people to be asshole dumbasses.
I know.
Doesn't
I
mean
have a
we're
problem.
encouraging them or agreeing with them.
Hey, Bob.
I have a problem with that. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with the rights. I just have a problem with it to be accepted that I can be a racist. I can be
not accepted.
Well, here's the thing, Bob. You know who the two biggest racists I know are? They're my in-laws, and they're Canadian. If you really want to go there, the biggest racists I know are my in-laws, and
Are
they're
they from
Canadian.
Quebec? And if they are, well, that explains it.
They're from Ontario, actually.
I think if we really researched it, that's all the whole time. We could have been. It all leads back to the Canadians. They're real racist, and they keep blaming it on us.
I know, and everybody keeps saying I'm a racist. I don't know why. I just keep saying you guys got too many colors. Just call them all Americans. You got red, white, and blue, right? If you blend all those colors together, you get all the browns and blacks and everything you want.
The consensus is never the same as the individual. I think that's all that matters.
Yep. Oh no, I agree with that. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't. You see, this is the thing is, I don't disagree with the way you guys are describing your rights. I disagree with people that go, well, it's okay to be that way, and it's like it's not okay. It's wrong to be that way.
Well, no one said it was
George
okay.
Packers.
Hold on.
I don't like
Yeah,
George Packers any more than the next
No one said it was okay to be that way. The problem is we don't need the government to give us our moral compass. We as individuals have the right to choose what we feel is acceptable amongst society. And it's our right. If some dickhead chooses to be a racist or anti-Semitic or have a
So
gay,
you're okay with the Duck Dynasty guy going, I can rape these little girls and stuff in front of you, but as long as it's okay.
Why
because
would
you're
I?
atheist,
Why
so
are
it
you
doesn't
confusing
matter.
a crime
Why
with
would I?
discrimination?
Yeah, what the hell, Bob? why would you say that someone would be okay with that? I'm not okay with
Well,
any
no,
of it.
I'm just
But
saying, like the
it's
Duck
not-
Dynasty
it's
guy
not
that
our- well, that has nothing to do
stood
with
in front of a bunch of people
You
and
want
they
us to just
cheered
say
and
about weird
clapped.
shit that happened in Canada?
Yeah, it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of the government has no right
Here we go.
to
Yankees.
tell someone what to do, period. It doesn't make
Yeah,
it right or wrong.
Man, Candyman. Oh, shit.
I don't agree with it because the government does have the right to say you're not allowed to kill people, you're not allowed to do this, you're not. I mean, they
Yeah,
do
those
that
are
all the time. That's
actual
why we
The
do
government
it.
has a right
those
to
are
I'm not
punish
allowed
you.
to be a fucking
Kinda
asshole.
common
This is the day
sense,
I moved to Canada with you, Bob. How's that?
I missed most of that. So
The day the government says I don't have the right to be the fucking asshole that I am is the day I moved to Canada and live with you. Except your country.
Sounds like Bill of Rights.
well, I have an extra room.
Do you
but,
feel like do you call up your government agency on a daily basis and ask them how you should feel for that day?
Well, hell no,
Because
man.
that's
I'm
basically what
not-
you're saying is we need the government's guidance so
Yeah,
much
thought
that
police.
You
that
know,
we
and
need-
maybe it's different here because we allow so many immigrants, and we have to we have real problems with people coming from
I'm not
other
from the-
countries, and they think it's okay to eat a neighbor's dog and maybe kill their
Dude,
daughter
you got
because
those
the daughter
problems
started
here,
dating
Bob.
someone. We've had problems with that, but I mean, we treat them under Canadian law, which says you.
I missed the topic. What's going on?
oh shit.
Is it right for a private owner to
We
deny
almost felt
somebody
discrimination,
service?
But then Bob messed it all up.
Hold on. Everybody be quiet. Let's do this.
Right for
It's
what?
getting jumbled. Does a private business owner have the right to deny service to someone in their establishment, whether it be based on religion, race, sexual orientation?
Or just being an asshole.
You have a right to refuse service to anybody that's being an asshole, but I don't think you have a right if you have a public license to discriminate, because your public license is granted by your municipality, and your municipality has a right to set rules.
Well, that's what we were talking about. The guy in where was it at?
Washington State.
Washington State.
Has
That
to go to anger management, counseling, pay fines, do all this stuff, and I believe register with the
because
state.
he wouldn't. He told some patron that he wouldn't serve him because they were gay.
And it was against his religion. His religious beliefs didn't allow or whatever.
Well, no, the religious thing came later. He said he didn't want to serve them, and then when he got into court, he made the claims that it was a religious exemption.
That's his lawyer coming up with that. But yeah, if you have a public license, you have to abide by the laws your state sets for your public license. Your public license says you will not discriminate on the grounds of sexual orientation, race, religion, etc. So if you violate that regulation, you violate it. And that's
But then I guess then we were getting into more of like and I'm going to draw the comparison to like maybe a Fair Housing Act, where if you take on the responsibility of providing housing, then you have to there again not discriminate on all those variables. But we're talking specifically just the government in general being able.
Well, yeah, because the government
telling you.
Because the government is that's all done on a state and federal level, and the state has a right to come together as people and say, if you are going to get a business license in our state, you will abide by these rules. And then you don't have to get a business license in that state. You can move to another state. You can move to a state that doesn't have the same anti-discrimination laws. I mean, you can do that.
I would agree that it's the state's
earlier,
right to revoke his license, but I don't know about bringing that many charges to saying he's got to go to anger management, basically a re-education class.
Well, we
don't
know how he.
I wouldn't agree with any types of anger management classes or anything like that. All I would agree with is, okay, you getting your license revoked, and the people that you denied service to have the right to sue you for damages if they received any actual damages. You're refusing them.
I mean, as far as the anger management goes, that depends on how he reacted to them asking for the cake. If he started screaming at them, you fucking fags are gonna burn in hell and all this shit, yeah, he probably should go to anger management.
Oh no, I don't think he should, unless he harmed them, because you have a right to be a dick.
Well, here's the thing. If as me as a business owner, can I deny you service because your name's David, or can I deny you service because your name's Bob?
Well, I do it by putting a sign up that says I have the right to refuse service, and then I don't list what my reason is. I just say I don't want to do business with you. Goodbye.
Exactly. And that was the point before Dave came in, which was he had a right to refuse service, but he did not have a right to say it's because he's...
Let's be legal about this. And no, just because you put up a sign that says I have the right to refuse service, that does not cover you legally. It's just like places that put up a sign that says not responsible for your hat and coat. They are still responsible for your hat and coat if they take possession of it, whether they put a sign up or not. And it's the same thing. If you put up a sign that says I refuse the right to provide service, you are only protected by the law if you do it on a grounds that isn't protected. So if they can prove you did it because they're black or gay or etc., you would still be liable under the law.
Which was the whole point, which is he said he was doing it because they were gay. If he had simply just said, I'm refusing service and left it alone.
He could have just said, what's he do for a living?
Cake.
He's a cake maker or a dressmaker.
All he have to do is, all he would have had to done is say, you know, dudes or lesbos or whatever, I am so booked up, I just can't take any more orders right now.
Yep.
And there's nothing anyone could have done to him.
Yep.
Right. It sounds like this particular one went somewhere because he made a point of saying why he didn't want to do it.
I think, and
well, he broke the stupid rule. He's guilty of being an idiot.
Exactly.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, and that's why they have the laws there, right? Is so you can't be denied that service because you're...
They have laws because there are minorities in this country that have been historically treated poorly and not been given a fair shake. And the Constitution of this country is based on everybody getting a fair shake. So all these anti-discrimination laws are constitutional based. They are guaranteeing you your individual constitutional rights without discrimination.
How come when he says that nobody yells at him?
Well,
I'm about to yell at him. Give me a second. Quit interrupting me yelling at him.
As a business owner, I have a right to refuse service.
Don't yell at me yet. I got to go get some coffee.
I don't have a right to refuse service.
I'm going to win. Yankee left. I won. I didn't even have to rebuttal. I win. Technicality.
And this is the thing. I mean, I'm looking deep into this as a future business owner personally and a former management business. I kind of knew about this. But you do have a right to refuse service. There is a certain line where they cannot force me to do business with you if I don't want to do it. And I could simply say, I don't want to do business with G-Webs because I just don't like them. And that's it. And that's
you don't have to even say that part. You can just say, I do not want to do business, and everyone has that right. Here's the thing. I understand these laws, and I'm going to ask Yankee when it gets back if he agrees with me that, well, no, he won't agree with me, but I think that I don't debate that the laws exist and why they exist. That's history, right? And they've gotten us to where we are today, so fine. I don't necessarily think we had to go with the laws as the only option, and I would like to think that at some point we can strip those laws. The same way we have laws that say don't wash your donkey in the middle of the intersection on Sundays because at some point that was annoying for people, right? Nowadays it's not an issue. It's an unnecessary law. So I agree that at one point in history the world was more fucked up than it is today. But I like to think that our crazy experiment called the melting pot of America has, with whatever impulses, you know, in the past, these laws included, but many more things swayed culture than just those laws. I will never agree that just those laws are what got us to where we are today. They were just part of the equation. So I'm going to suggest that at some point we can remove those laws and go to where Stone Guy and I think we're petitioning for. We weren't petitioning for racism or bigotry or any of that shit. We're suggesting that because there's less of that than some people perceive, then at some point we don't need the government to come in and tell us what we need to do, and instead we can just look at the cut of your jib and decide whether or not we want to do business with you, which is really everybody's right in the long run. The laws are there so you don't set up shop saying we hate Jews or we hate whatever subset of the population, and we're going to make a business on our hatred of this, because we all agree that's a effed up way to run a business, and I guess we all agreed we should have laws against it. Now I personally think we don't need the laws, because if somebody made a stupid shop like that, the community would come together and go, get your freaking shop out of here. It's stupid. So how we get to that point, we all agree that there's certain things that just won't fly in a community, and I don't think we need laws to make those.
I think we need more education on how everybody's the same. Honest to God, if you skin anybody, no matter whether they're Asian or black or white or whatever, You skin them, they all look the same.
Actually,
Well,
no, they don't. The
education,
bone
the
structure's
fundamental
different.
lack.
What about Newfies, Bob?
Oh, Newfies look same, except usually they got like squid bites on their bones, but you know that's just because they're Newfies.
I'd agree with you, Bob. Though it does go back to lack of understanding. That's pretty much.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, you know, and that's the whole thing is, you know, when I was a kid growing up, I didn't know the only other race I knew was Native, like Aboriginal Canadians, and you know, as I got older, I got to meet other people, and I had these expectations because of watching TV and stuff like that, and then when I met them, it was like, well, they're nothing like what I read or heard, or you know,
They're a lot like
just
you,
like
aren't
me. They're just like me, and then like I say, once you skin them, they're exactly the same. They're just red, and they look the same. Everything works the same. There's no difference.
So are you saying we need to skin everybody that's not Canadian now?
No, I'm just saying that like once you understand that if you take the skin off
The
people,
human's a human.
yeah, they're all humans. They're
I'm
all
sorry, it was
exactly
a
the
bad
same.
joke.
I mean, we know through genetics that everybody came out of Africa. Which is kind of weird when you meet people who are from Africa because they don't look like us. But we change, right? They know that Europeans, 20% of Europeans have Neanderthal genes. You know, so we know that the hominids, the early hominids, which became us,
Let's
bred with
This
the
started about baking
Neanderthals.
the cake, and now we're getting lectured by Canadian.
But let's say like we pretty much covered
I'm
it.
saying we're all the same. I don't think we should be able to discriminate against.
If you take the frosting off of the cake,
All right.
it's all the same inside.
But let's just say the scenario is different. It's a Jewish shop owner, and so a guy walks in with some skinhead tattoos, or you know, on his head or whatever, or visible on his arm, and he refuses him service. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't want to do it with you. And but the media tends to also scope that a little different. Like, oh,
But you got to remember, you can't compare the two things because having a tattoo and choosing a lifestyle, choosing a philosophy of hatred is different than being born gay or black or Hispanic or something like. They're not comparable situations.
The same scenario was someone with a big German flag tattooed up and down his arm, and they were refused service based on ethnicity.
I have refused to hire people because of tattoos they've had, and that is totally legal because that was a choice they
In
made.
your state, if you did that here, you'd have your business shut down and be in jail.
No, that's not true. It's not illegal in any state of the union to make character choices. And I can say
There's
that
a
someone
difference
who has
between
a
character choices and discrimination. I know plenty of people that are very uptight citizens.
well, tell me the law that prevents me from making a character decision based on someone's tattoos.
Well, then again, you also can't ask me to take my shirt off to see if I have tattoos.
No, that's why I wouldn't make a decision based. But I've not hired people because they had a tattoo on their neck or face, and then they said something to me about, is my tattoo? And I'm like, yeah, your tattoo tells me you make poor decisions. And I don't want someone who makes poor decisions working for me.
Well, not only that, it looks bad for the business. I mean, you know, you got somebody who's got a swastika tattooed on their neck.
I wouldn't hire them.
You know,
No,
yeah.
no protection for that.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, no,
someone
it's
can't
going to
walk
be
in my-
offensive to my customers.
Someone can't walk into my business and call me names and act like a dick to me and then say you have to hire me. You can't discriminate against me. I can discriminate against you about being an asshole. That's not a
Damn
protected
right.
class.
Yeah. Every one of the stores, like when I worked at the co-op, every one of our checkouts had big signs, no verbal or no verbal abuse will be tolerated. And I was like, if they started swearing at our cashiers, I'd go right over there and say, get the fuck out of the store. Like, you're gone. Well, I wouldn't say get the fuck because that would be kind of, you get my point, though. I would say, no, you're done. You're out of here. You cannot, like, do that to a person. And especially, like, all our cashiers were 16-year-old girls. I didn't hire them. But you have the right as a store owner, business owner, to tell people who are being abusive, get the hell out. Now, if they're not being abusive, yeah, you're in a business.
I can tell people get out for lots of reasons. I mean, I've had to tell people get out of my bar before because, hey, I'm reaching my maximum occupancy. Somebody's got to leave. Yeah. So.
And B, you're an asshole. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
I can tell people, hey, I don't like your attitude. Get out of my bar. I don't, that's fine.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. But yeah, you can't say, get out of my bar, you're Hispanic, and I don't like you Hispanics, because you drink tequila and then you start fights.
No, see, I can't say that.
Because that would be discrimination. So, a couple of guys come in and they're kind of flouncy. You shouldn't be able to tell them, I don't want you in my bar because it's a sports bar and you guys look all gay.
Look, I can't discriminate on that, and I don't think I should be able to. I mean, like I say, it's all based on providing everyone equal protection under the Constitution, and everyone has the right to participate in public licensed facilities, etc., equally. So if you are denying all those rights, you're violating their constitutional rights, and you should be held to task for it.
Right. So why is it in some states atheists cannot run for public office?
I've never heard of that. Our federal constitution demands that there be no religious litmus for public office.
That's what I would have to agree with Yankee on that one. I never heard of that before.
Well, I've heard of it. If you check the atheist blogs, I can't remember the states, but there are states. I think one of them might be Georgia.
Some states they might as well not bother, but there's no.
In the Bible Belt.
The way his.
Well, in the Bible Belt, I mean, and it's a law. If you do not have a.
Bob's like, I read it. I know it's true. I read it. I wrote it down, and then I read it, so I know it's true.
Well, okay. I mean. Yeah, I could go look it up, but I'm too lazy to do that, so.
Plus, you
can't argue with Yankee.
Used to be on the book.
Well, our federal constitution declares that there be no religious litmus test for public office. So.
Right, and that's the way it should be. I know it's that way here, but I've heard, from because I watch some of the atheist YouTube channels just because they're funny, and there's one chick that's really hot. But anyway, yeah, so that's where I've just heard it. Maybe it's changed. I don't think there should be. I think everybody should be treated at face value, and I don't mean
like you're not going to get a good end of that. You're going to get the short end of that stick because you got a horrible face.
Yeah, Bob, don't you realize if you rip the skin off everybody's face, we're all the same?
Women think I'm charming. I don't know why, but they do. And yeah, most people find it quite entertaining. So yeah, it's just you guys don't like me, so fuck yous all.
They think you're non-threatening, not charming. There's a difference.
Oh God, no. Should tell you what I've been doing since I've been single.
Should stop that, or your palms are going to get hairy.
No, that's actually no.
You're blind. Of course, at your age, you'd never know. Was it just age or masturbation? Could be either one.
Well, you see, at my age, I only have to do it once a month, so that works out pretty well, eh? And as long as the girls don't mind some dust, Was
that our only topic tonight? The cake baking?
Here's a good one. Yankee, you did cowboy guns. You ever see anybody do cowboy guns where they use two different pistols?
You mean
like I'm thinking a 31 black powder Navy Colt.
I've never seen everybody use the two gun used the same matched pair that I knew of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just thinking I already got the Black Hawk, and I'm thinking I want something lighter. I can maybe just put in a shoulder holster or a sash or something.
So did we solve that problem? I mean, is the world a better place?
Oh, it is now. It is now. Yeah. We've got everything figured out. We'll send you the memo, and then you have to start acting that way. That means you got.
Don't put me in that thing. That was the whole.
No. Oh, you're in the memo, right? That was part of the deal. It was the only way we could get everybody to sign is if you let the girls out of your basement.
No, that's not going to happen.
Fuck, I love you, Stone Guy, man.
But anyway, we've been going a little over an hour and a half, and it's been pretty decent chat, so I think I'll end it here before it gets any worse. No, I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. Appreciate everybody that showed up on the panel and participated.
Appreciate the invite. Thanks, Stone.
Yeah,
thanks,
fuck.
Tom.
Yeah, man. Anytime. No, I appreciate you guys coming out. That was a good chat. And so, for any of you watching out there, stay tuned. We'll try to do this every Thursday. We run the Tack Daddy show at 9 Eastern, and follow with the after show at 10. Check out Gun Channels, gunchannels.com for a list of
all free now.
Going on over there. Yep, 100% free. So make sure to show some support over at Gun Channels. And that's it, man. We'll see you guys next time.
Canadians get paid more in this chat.